Holy Bible, God asks, have you entered into the springs of the sea or walked in the recesses of the deep? Through this verse, he encourages us to travel and explore every spring, every trench, and every dark corner of the world. But can we? Well, it turns out that there are certain springs and deep recesses of the world that are not suitable or permitted for the average Joe like you and me. So here's a countdown of the 10 secret places on Earth we dare you to visit. Now before we begin, make sure you hit that subscribe button to get notified every day for more amazing content. With that being said, let's begin. Number 10. The Vatican Secret Archives. The Vatican Secret Archives is the central collection of all the acts, correspondence, account books, state papers, and many other important documents that were used by the Holy See or the jurisdiction of the Catholic Church. Traditionally, the Pope is the owner of the archives, and after his demise or resignation, ownership is transferred to the successor. The archives were first installed by Pope Paul V by separating the secret documents from the then Vatican Library in the 17th century. It was kept closed to outsiders for the most part of the history and was reopened for scholars and researchers in 1881 in accordance with the orders of Pope Paul V. In 2012, 100 documents of these archives were put on public display in an exhibition to mark the 400th anniversary of the Vatican Secret Archives. A handwritten transcript of the Galileo trial, the Papal Bull of 1521 to excommunicate Martin Luther, and letters from Abraham Lincoln to Pope Pius IX are just a few gems that are found among the archives. To this date, there have been not a single person who has been able to breach security and gain access to the Vatican Secret Archives. It remains restricted and will be so for a long time until someone dares to challenge that authority. Number 9. Snake Island, Brazil. Snake Island is located 93 miles off the shores of Sao Paulo, Brazil. It is a territory that is untouched by human settlers for obvious reasons. It is the habitat of the highest concentration of the deadliest, most venomous snakes in the world. Researchers who have gotten a glimpse of what is to offer have estimated that there are around 1 to 5 snakes, long and extremely venomous ones, per square meter. An estimate according to the locals is exaggerated. These venomous snakes prey on the migrating birds who use the island as their resting point. The snakes found on the island mainly include the golden lancehead pit viper, which is an endangered species native to the island. There is an estimated population of 2,000 to 4,000 golden lanceheads who depend on only 2 out of the 41 recorded bird species that inhabit the island. Strange choice, right? Well, currently the island is accessible only to the Brazilian Navy and the selected scientists or researchers. However, there are some who seek the help of the occasionally adventurous local to illegally enter the island. Are you tempted? If so, proceed at your own risk. Number 8. Coca-Cola Vault, back in Georgia. Now, one of the most coveted and most guarded secret recipes of our time is the Coca-Cola formula. Asa Candler, founder of the Coca-Cola Company, purchased the rights to the Coke formula from the inventor John Pemberton in 1891 and made some changes to the ingredients to bring about the authentic flavor of Coca-Cola. Later in 1919, a group of investors led by Ernest Woodruff acquired the company and placed a written copy of the formula in the vault of the Guarantee Bank and subsequently the Trust Company Bank. In 2011, the written copy of the formula was relocated to the basement of the World of Coca-Cola building in Atlanta, Georgia, where it is kept in a secure vault. Only 2 selected employees are said to know the formula, and their identities are kept anonymous. They are responsible for passing the formula from generation to generation. Even when the company ships ingredients to the factories, it is said that they keep it secret by naming them as numbered merchandises, and the relative percentages of each merchandise is revealed only to the factory managers. The World of Coca-Cola has the vault placed in a chamber surrounded by exhibits and multimedia that give you an immersive experience. So go visit the World of Coca-Cola and challenge yourself to find the formula, if you dare. Number 7. Area 51. Area 51 is the most talked about top secret military facility in the world. Often the area is referred to as a moon landing movie set or an alien research center. Despite these myths and legends, the area is said to be highly operational, very heavily guarded, and very closely monitored. The entrance to the area is a dusty road which leads to a chain-link fence full of trespassing signs and surveillance cameras that record the tiniest of movements, even that of a desert tortoise. Some locals say that there are sensors embedded in the road leading to the entrance and around the fence. So what is going on within this facility? What has led to various speculations over the years? Many believe that the facility has entrapped UFOs and aliens, while others assume that the 1969 moon landing was actually filmed in Area 51. The facility is said to be originated after World War II. Worried about the technological advancements the Soviet Union was making, President Eisenhower ordered the development of a high-altitude aircraft which required a covert remote location, hence the establishment of Area 51. Currently, according to Google Earth, there is continuous expansion and construction going on. People have also guessed that the latest military technologies are being tested and developed within the facility. So challenge the military powers of the U.S. Army if you dare to visit. Number 6. Jamaica Inn, Cornwall. The Jamaica Inn, located in Cornwall, United Kingdom, is a traditional inn built in 1750. This inn was the setting for the novel Jamaica Inn, written by Daphne du Maurier in 1936, and the subsequent movie with the same name by Alfred Hitchcock in 1939. Jamaica Inn was also famous as a smuggling spot and is home to some unsolved paranormal mysteries over the past years. One story goes on about a stranger who was called into the darkness in the night, being found dead in the misty moorland the next morning without a trace to as a cause of death. Some of the many visitors who have stayed at the inn in recent past too have reported to hearing footsteps without a clue of anyone who is in the vicinity. The Jamaica Inn is a popular place among paranormal activity lovers and researchers. The inn hosts murder mystery evenings every month and paranormal investigation weekends for the individuals who are brave enough to stay the night. So if you dare to spend the night with ghosts and scare the heck out of yourself or them, head to Cornwall today. Number 5. Heard Island, Australia. Here is another remote adventure for the extreme adventurer. Governed in the 19th century, the Heard Island spans a territory of approximately 370 square kilometers along with the other adjacent volcanic islands. It is located close to Antarctica in the Indian Ocean, about 4,100 kilometers southwest of Perth and 3,800 kilometers southeast of Madagascar. The island consists of around 40 glaciers, and almost 80% of the surface of the island is covered with ice. It is also known to inhabit seals, penguins, marine birds, and other forms of wildlife. However, in the year 2000, researchers from the University of Hawaii noted a lava flow coming from the Mawson's Peak, which is a 2,700-foot high volcano complex. Since then, the volcano has been active and the risk of an eruption remains possible. In addition to the volcanoes, the weather in the region is very poor. For a traveler to find an adjacent mass of land in case of an emergency, a minimum of a 2-week sail is required. All of these factors put together, the Heard Island becomes one of the most remote and most dangerous places to travel. So if you love extreme adventures, I dare you to try this one. Number 4. Metro 2, Russia. The Metro 2 is a secret underground tunnel railway system that runs parallel to the Moscow Public Metro Railway. It is said that this system was built during the time of the Soviet revolutionary Joseph Stalin for the purpose of secretly connecting the important government buildings to one another. Some say that the reason for building the Metro 2 could be attributed to the paranoia of assassination that he had on his life, and understandably the Metro 2 was directly connected to the suburban residence of Stalin. Currently, the subway is known to connect the Kremlin, Federal Security Service headquarters, an underground town, the government airport, the Ministry of Defense, and other military facilities altogether. Many hold the view that the construction of the Metro 2 was stopped after the death of Stalin, and some believe that every administration has added new sections and lines to the system connecting all the important points. However, in 1994, an urban exploration group claimed that they had uncovered an entrance to the Metro 2 system. So this is a very tough challenge if you dare to revisit the secrets of the mighty Soviet Empire. Number 3. Cave of the Evil Spirit, Niagara Falls. Now, Niagara Falls is a popular tourist destination, which entertains and attracts a multitude of visitors every year. However, behind the beauty of the Niagara Falls lies a dreaded place where an evil spirit is said to reside. A native Indian legend of the region that dates back over 3 centuries has it that the cave that lies down the road from the waterfall trapped many evil spirits. A famous incident where the Canadian explorer Robert Cavalier de La Salle experienced the presence of spirits was recounted by the historian Edward T. Williams. Upon approaching the cave, La Salle was said to be warned by his guide, who was a Native American. He related a story to La Salle about a brave young tribesman who entered the cave and disappeared forever without a trace. He also stated that there were frequent noises of groans, shrieks, and thunders coming out of the cave. La Salle didn't obey the warning given by the guide and descended down the cave and crept in. It is said that he heard a whisper in his ears and ran out of the cave scared to death. However, just as what the evil spirit had whispered, his misfortunes started to unfold one after the other, and finally he was murdered by his own people. Scary enough? Dare to creep inside and see what the spirits have to say about you. Decision is yours. Number 2. Poveglia, Italy. This island is considered the most haunted island in Italy and probably the whole of Europe. Situated in the Venetian lagoon between Lido and Venice, there is a small canal that divides the island into 2 halves. Historically, it was known as a fortress, and in the 18th century, it became popular as a checkpoint for the trading ships that carried people and goods to and from Venice. After a few ships that brought the bubonic plague into the island in the late 18th century, the island was temporarily transformed into a quarantine station for the sick. Now, under the rule of the famous Napoleon, the island took its role of a quarantine station permanently, and the island was shut down afterwards. In the 20th century, Poveglia was again open, this time as an asylum for the mentally ill. The remainder of the buildings were converted to a hospital and used for this purpose. After a few decades of treating the mentally ill, the hospital was shut down in 1968 and the island was abandoned, making Poveglia one of the most haunted places in Italy. If you dare visit here, your destination is full of ghosts. Number 1. North Sentinel Island. Located in the Andaman group of islands in the Bay of Bengal, the North Sentinel Island is often described as the hardest place to travel on Earth, not due to any natural barrier, but because of the violent defense of the inhabitant tribesmen. The Sentinelese people are considered the only tribal people who reject any contact with the outside world. Anyone who attempted to enter the island or make any contact with the tribesmen is met with sheer violence and might probably face death. Even though geographically it belongs to the Indian government, the authorities have recognized the tribe's desire to be left alone and limit their involvement only to remote monitoring. The population of the Sentinelese in the island is estimated to be between 50 to 400, and it is said that they might have been living there for more than 60,000 years. 60,000! Yes, you heard that right. 60,000 years. Repeated attempts by researchers, explorers, anthropologists, and even tribesmen from surrounding islands for access have been met with vigorous defense. In fact, in January 2006, 2 fishermen who knowingly or unknowingly wandered into the island were murdered in cold blood and tossed into beach graves. The Coast Guard helicopter that came to retrieve the bodies was also met with metal arrows that prevented them from landing. Dare to visit? Well, here's the most difficult place. Again, proceed at your own risk. Attention Daily Top Teners. We have breaking news. A new channel alert. The most entertaining channel on YouTube is finally here, and they are giving away free iPhone 10s. All you have to do is subscribe to come along to win. It's full of super exciting cool facts, riddles, life hacks, and mysteries to keep you entertained. But don't take my word for it. Click on the screen now to see the latest video, or click the round yellow sun looking button and subscribe now. Link is also in the description. See you all there.